Okay, I think we'll just give it another minute. We have more people hopping on.
It's just going to be all three of us when we talk. Not pause. I meant mute.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay, you have to hit mute on that.
I don't even see mute.
Well,
I think
What
it's
is-
good. I think we're good.
yeah, only one of them should have sound.
Yeah, my audio.
Okay, okay. It's not,
Start. We'll do introduction, and then just your name and your affiliation with ROSC or organization that you're with, and then we'll go ahead and jump into the meeting. I'll go ahead and start. My name is Frankie Ward. I'm the recovery specialist with Ford County ROSC, and then I'll just go ahead and call names. I think that's probably the easiest way. So I'll do that next.
Hi, Barb Brumlevy, and I'm a community health specialist at Jesuit, working on the Ford County and McLean County ROSC. Thanks.
Barb. Okay, we'll go to Carrie.
Good morning, everyone. Carrie Knapp, Associate Director of Community Health with Chestnut Health Systems and the Program Supervisor for Ford County ROSC. It's great to be with you guys today.
Thank you, Carrie. Okay, Tim.
My name is Tim Nuss. I'm with a Ford County Board and very passionate about making Ford County a better place to live.
Thank you, Tim. All righty, we'll go to Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah Hoover. I'm a peer recovery specialist at Gibson City Grow.
Thanks, Sarah. Odette.
Good morning. I'm Odette Hyatt Watson with East Central Illinois Community Action Agency. I'm the CEO. We serve Ford, Iroquois, and Vermain counties.
Thank you, Odette. Jeremy.
Morning, guys. My name is Jeremy Darnell, and I am the superintendent at GCMS School District.
Thank you. We'll do Abby.
Morning, everyone. My name is Abby Behrens, and I am with the Butterfly Project out of Bright Point.
Thank you, Abby. Jeff.
Hi, hello, Jeff McFadden. I'm the System of Care Coordinator for Bridgeway's West Central Illinois ROSC.
Thanks, Jeff. Tristan.
Good morning. My name's Tristan McGrew. I'm serving with Recovery Corps in Logan Mason County ROSC.
Thanks, Tristan. We'll do Jeanette.
Good morning, y'all. I'm traveling, so that's why my camera is off. But my name is Jeanette Davis. I have the privilege to serve as a community health specialist for recovery supports for the Logan Mason ROSC.
Jeanette. Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa from LifeSill. I'm the community living advocate.
Thank you, Melissa. Carrie.
Hi, everyone. It's Carrie McKenzie with Gateway Foundation, and I'm traveling as well.
And then we have Cammie here in person.
hi, I'm Cammie Garrison. I am the Region 3 Technical Assistant for Statewide ROSC.
So thank you, Cammie. All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and jump in. Thank you guys all for being here. This is our final meeting of FY24. And we went back and forth about what we should do with our end of the year meeting. And we decided to go ahead and talk about youth engagement with the Ford County ROSC. But before we jumped into that, there is an updated version of, or updated definition of ROSC. It is a recovery-oriented systems of care. Is a coordinated network of community-based services and supports that is person-centered and builds on the strengths and resilience of individuals, families, and communities to experience recovery and improved health, wellness, and quality of life for those with or at risk of substance use and or co-occurring conditions. The central focus of a ROSC is to create an infrastructure or a system of care with resources to effectively address the full range of substance use and or co-occurring disorders within communities. It's a mouthful. But it is updated to be more inclusive. Not everyone who struggles with mental health or substance use struggles has been diagnosed with a disorder or a medical condition. So they wanted to make it more inclusive for everyone. The next slide is our mission statement of the Ford County ROSC. We think that we're going to start more often sharing this, just to try to be more mindful that we will have new participants on these meetings and don't necessarily know what our mission is or what the definition of ROSC is. So we'll be throwing this in here throughout the year more often, and also just a reminder for us. But our mission for Ford County ROSC is bring the community together to build a recovery support system to improve health, wellness, and quality of life through education, stigma reduction, and access to resources. So like I said, we kind of went back and forth about what to do with our final meeting of FY24. And we landed on the youth engagement within the ROSC. And this is for many reasons. It kind of just was like the perfect storm. It's not really a storm, but.
Well, it is kind of a storm.
Yeah.
I think since COVID, we definitely know that youth are struggling a lot with mental
For sure.
Health. And I know that Frankie, when you went and there was a needs assessment that you
So
learned about.
actually lately, Barb and I have been doing a lot of trainings when it comes to involving youth into our coalitions and community work. So that's kind of the first thing. The second thing that kind of brought this to our minds is recently I went to a community health needs assessment in Ford County, and kind of the biggest topic or thing that was asked, or the need that was needed to be met the most and most talked about was mental health with our youth, especially from our educators. There's a lot on their plates right now. And I think if we as a ROSC can help in any way that we possibly can, and we see that that's kind of a good fit, then we would like to do that. Also at All Awareness Day last month, Barb and Tim actually had some conversations with local youth about their struggles with mental health, and also that they kind of wanted to be involved in raising awareness and be involved in any way that they could. And then the last thing, which is kind of just me personally seeing on social media, community members, I guess, concerned about our teenage youth at the parks and kind of the language they use and the music they're listening to and the little ones at the park. So just all of these kind of things we wanted to talk about and see if maybe ROSC is a place where we can start addressing these needs. Can we go to the next slide?
Yes.
So we kind of just want to have an open discussion about where we think, if we think, where we think, and why we think the youth should be engaged in ROSC. I have a few kind of like questions to help lead the discussion, but any thoughts on this are welcome. So the first one, and this one is not really anything that anyone needs to answer, just kind of keep in mind as the next couple questions come up, but is youth engagement a crucial component that is currently absent from the ROSC? So just have that, do you think that they are a missing, I guess, sector of the ROSC or not? The next question. There it is. What is your opinion on the significance of involving young people in the ROSC? So kind of why do we think that they should be here? Why is it important to have their voices at the table? And then the last question, and we can just jump into these all at once. And then what roles could the youth play in a ROSC? So those are kind of the three questions that I wanted to have just an open discussion today. I know what I would like to see, but I wanted to give you guys a chance to kind of share what you guys feel first. So yeah, we'll go ahead and open it up on your thoughts of youth within the ROSC.
And I'm gonna just add something, and also, obviously, if anyone's had experience with youth, like councils or any types of, youth groups too, any information on that experience would be great too.
Odette, sure.
I think that the youth is an important component, but just because of impression, growth, different levels of understanding, when we talk about youth, can we define what age group you're talking about? Are we talking about getting gentle information to, second through fifth grade, or and a little bit more intense as we get into the middle school? And then in high school, you know, where, you know, the truth is, I even bring up grammar school because kids see so much on television, hear so much even in their homes or in their neighborhoods. So when we talk about kids' involvement, can we talk about, or you know, I think it's so important, but it's almost like it has to be grouped in order to create awareness, prevention, and then awareness, more proactive prevention as we get older. You know, that thought comes to my mind. I guess I wanted to really emphasize that the younger
Yeah,
we
for
can go, it's important, my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. And I think so. I know Ford County has prevention through, I think it's Rosecrans. So this, in my head, what I would feel for involvement with ROSC would be more of like a council or a subcommittee. So these would be older, and I just recently learned that youth is 20 years, I
Like
think.
21, I think 15 to 21.
15?
Or something. Like,
Yeah.
It's 21 or.
Yeah, so but so it'd be less of like the prevention work, I guess, and more of
Getting them involved.
getting them involved and giving them leadership and letting them make decisions and share.
Hello.
So we have a new person. Dave
We
King.
just, Dave King just walked in.
Sorry,
Welcome,
Abby, go
welcome.
ahead.
So anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to share that similar but not the same in Logan County. In our coalition, we're working with the Lincoln Memorial Hospital to do a like youth mental health like texting campaign. And a part of that is where we're working with the Logan County, or not Logan County, the Lincoln like high school. And they have like a committee of freshmen, I think is what it is. Or something like that. I can't remember what grade it is. But anyways, there's a small committee of like students, and they are like giving us like input and like telling us like, hey, we like need more resources on this, or we want to learn more about this, or like this is the type of information that you can give us, and just things like that. And so like I know that personally we've found a lot of success in just like having the help of those students in that thing that we're doing with them, because some of the things that we thought that were going to be helpful for that campaign, they're like, no, that's not it. Like you need to do this instead. So like just in order to really understand, it was really helpful to get their input. So it's not the same as what you're talking about, but it's similar in that we're using their voices for youth mental health specifically. So I think that it would be great, you know, especially as like a subcommittee. Obviously I see some like red flags or areas of concern when you talk about like maybe combining the two. Just because like you don't want anything to be like triggering for them or not be like appropriate for their age group. But I think that there's definitely a place for it, and I think that it would be really, really important for this incredible work that you're all doing. So those are just my thoughts.
You, Abby, and yeah, that makes sense. I mean, since working with the ROSC and hearing that we need people with experience at the table, we need to hear our point of view. We know what we need more than anyone, so it makes sense that we would look at the youth like that as well. Like, what are they seeing? What do they want to see? And I think that it's important to have their feedback on what they think will help. So I think that's a really good point, Abby. So thank you. Any other thoughts on this? We have
I have thoughts. So I agree with Abby, and I think that's on the right track. And at my other job, I had much success with the Youth Advisory Council that met once a month or whatever and helped plan events for their school. And they're pretty honest about like, yeah, that's lame. That's not going to be a success. So that's exactly what we needed.
Yeah.
I really feel like with this topic, I think it would be students that are affected by this. So I think that would be great, and that's on the right track. And I want to say two other things just about your question. The first question, is it something that's currently absent from the ROSC? I mean, as a sector and attending meetings and being on the council, yes, that's obvious, but don't sell yourself short, because did you guys not have a bunch of youth involved in the All Awareness Day last year?
Yeah.
And I was not sure about this year because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But I know you worked really hard to get those kids involved. So just because it doesn't look like what we think it should look like,
Yeah.
you know, they were still involved in it, and something moved them to want to participate in that and be a part of it.
That's so true.
Yeah, so you did do that. It just didn't look the way we think it should look in the little box.
Right.
And I can't remember what else I was gonna say, but along those lines is like, no, the youth are not gonna be on our council and attend meetings in the way that we are.
Yeah.
But we let people give their energy and their talents in the way that suits them and works for them.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be like shifting our mindset. Yes, they're an important sector, but we just have to grab them a different way.
Yeah. 100%.
And not be in our little box of how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Katie.
Yes. Yeah, I just have to say that I was just so impressed when at the All Awareness event, and when Tim and I were at the ROSC table. I don't know if you remember, Tim, but I think it was like three girls came up, and they were talking about, you know, one, she was saying she was struggled with mental health and had just gotten out of the hospital. And I mean, just to say it and talk to somebody about that's big. I couldn't believe it. It was great that she felt comfortable and open, and that's what we want to do, is break the stigma. So if we can, you know, it seems like they were wanting to get involved and do something. So it's like, let's hear their voices, because they're the experts. We're not.
For sure. So I guess when I'm thinking, youth involvement within the ROSC, Cammie, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Just them showing up and like helping out with All Awareness Day, talking us at the table, expressing that they want to be a part of raising awareness when it comes to mental health, especially within their age group. But then also I'm envisioning a subcommittee, again, maybe not when they're at the table here with us, talking at these council meetings. Obviously, when school starts, they're not going to be able to anyways. But I think, and I don't have all like logistics planned out, but what I would love to see is a subcommittee of youth who are passionate or have been affected by mental health struggles. Maybe family members have struggled with substance use problems or mental health struggles, and then coming together, and maybe we can provide that space for them to come together, one, support each other, but also what kind of activities do they want to see in our towns here in Ford County. Like I went back to the park situation and all of the stuff with the parks locally. Maybe there's not the kind of events or activities here that they would like to see. So giving them the leadership and giving them the power to be like, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to see. Maybe it's something to do with music. Maybe it's something to do with art. So I think just helping them figure that out, I think is one of the things I could see them doing with this subcommittee. Abby, did you have a question?
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to share one other thing, is that in Livingston County, they also have like a youth in I don't know, it's like youth commission meeting or something like that. Anyways, it's like during the school year, each like school social worker or like principal or something brings like one or two students from all of the schools in like Livingston County, and that is like high school age students. And they can be ranged from like freshman to senior. And they do like lots of like things that we do in our meetings, like presentations and things like that. So I think that also is a good example of like youth being present like in the meetings. And it's shown to be like super effective. So I just wanted to share that as well. So like just to give another example of like how it is working. So I just didn't want to miss that point.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks, Abby. Tim, did you have a question, comment?
Yes, I don't know if anybody else was at the All Awareness Day, but again, I can't thank you guys enough for what you did in our community. I was blessed to be able to be there and work with Barb and learn so very, very much by so many different people leading by example and making a difference within our community. And I think the young people gravitate towards that because they saw leadership, they saw role models, they saw people they could look up to. And again, if anybody was there and just looked around, the kids were getting involved. Barb was standing there listening to so many of them and just listening, hearing what they had to say, not telling them and everything else, but listening to them and feeling their, pain and everything else and what they were going through. And it meant a lot to me. And I can't thank you guys enough for that. Thank you very, very much.
Oh, well, thank you, Tim. You
Yeah.
did a lot there. You were talking to a lot and listening. I mean, listening's, important. So yeah, thank you, Tim, for everything you do.
Sure. Jeanette.
Well, I love that. And I hope next year I can make that event because it's one that I definitely would love to experience personally. So I'm just I'm feeling very passionate about this topic also. Kind of Frankie mentioned kind of trainings and just how things have fallen into place. It seems like the topic that our communities continuously are showing up on, and our data showing the mental health crisis with our young people continue. I loved some of the questions. I'm brainstorming for our, what we got going on too. And one of the things, landing on who is that population? Who would the ROSC be most, what would make the most sense to connect with? And I think, we started talking a little bit about 16 to 24-year-old, kind of in that age range, as an age range, but really singling out, looking for, calling out to those young people who do have direct experience struggling with parents of, just in that through DCFS, through DHS, through, some type of ways that we can really call out, identify that group of young people and see, I am one who would love one of those young people or a couple of those young people represented on our actual council. I would in that age group. But I would just encourage, I keep thinking there is a pairing somewhere with prevention and ROSC, but I still feel like there's still some space there that doesn't quite make sense. So like I said, we keep kind of going to identifying children, or excuse me, young adults of parents who we know whom have struggled or have experienced that themselves, and trying to create that subcommittee to then get their voice. And so I don't have an answer to the how. I just want to say you're not alone in that. I'm glad to be here and hear kind of the brainstorming that's going on and the other ways that we can look how young people can contribute without it necessarily it looking like, again, like what Cammie said, what it's supposed to look like. But that I am gung-ho too, to get some young people on, because what I feel like some of the programming that is happening, or our old school AANA kind of routes, all that is changing. And if we don't start connecting with our young people, if we don't start, meeting them right where they are, coming to them, in their language and in their style, I think there could be some real promise there. if we can build that bridge. So really encouraged by what you're doing, and hopefully we'll learn and share together.
Thank you, Jeanette. Yeah, I agree with everything that you say. I have a son that's 16 years old. He has struggled with the vaping and things like that. And I kind of was asking his opinion on what if there was a space for you to kind of, he doesn't want to do sports. It's not his thing. Maybe he'll play basketball here and there at the park, but he loves music. He writes raps, he writes all kinds of stuff. He draws, like, so I'm like, what if you had the power or the resources to create a space for other kids that like the things that you do? He's also a child of a parent who struggled with substances myself. And so I think, and I honestly thought asking him that he'd be like, you're so uncool, like, get away from me. Why are you talking about that? But he was interested and he kept asking questions like, so like we could do like this or that. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I would love to happen. And I really did not think that he would
Even
care at all. Like, no, I don't, but no, he was like interested. And I was like, oh my gosh, my 16-year-old who thinks I'm so lame.
Yeah.
And like, he likes this idea. So I think that, yeah, I don't know. We need their voices. We need their opinions. And I think that they're more interested than we would think that they would be, I guess.
Right.
Even 16-year-old boys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
No, that's
yeah.
great.
And I think too, like on another, besides just like this subcommittee of a ROSC and helping plan for events and activities or raising awareness and providing trainings, I think even I saw this program I was telling Barb about. It's called NAMI on Campus, and I've seen it in California, and I haven't really did a deep dive yet to really understand what it was. But I know it's within the schools. It is a peer group. They're provided with trainings to like on how to raise awareness, how to support each other, and things like that. So I feel like maybe looking into some kind of group like this not only will help our youth, but maybe even help our education staff and things like that, because I mean, they've got a lot on their plates, and I don't envy them whatsoever. I could never be a teacher or any kind of staff, but I think that they also need support. And I think something like this could kind of help the students and the staff in our schools. And AA meetings, all that is a huge part of a lot of people's recovery. So I feel like with our youth, why wouldn't it be the same way with them supporting each other and just getting through whatever struggles that they're going through? So I feel like it's two different things I have going on in my head that I would like to see, and maybe there could be combined somehow. But I would love to look into getting somebody from organization that has, or a school that has done a program like this to present and just kind of tell us how it goes and the logistics of it, just to see more information about that. So Tim, did you have a question or comment?
Yes, I guess I saw Mr. Jeremy Darnell on earlier, and I'd love to hear his thoughts and views about what's going on in our ROSC community and any way he thinks we could go and direction, since he sees kids every day of his life and everything like that and our community. I don't mean to put you on the spot, Jeremy, but I'd sure love to hear from you.
You absolutely meant to put me on the spot, Tim. I'm okay with that. No, I'm sitting and listening and absorbing because I haven't participated in previous meetings. So I'm just trying to get an understanding of where you're going, what you're doing. Yeah, there's always opportunities within the school systems, right? It's where the kids are. It's where you have access to them. Doing things within the school day. I can tell you it's our greatest challenge is time with kids. You know, what do we sacrifice? Because in order to have a group, how do you get the right kids in the room at the right time without taking them away from something else that's also burdened of their time within the school day? I don't know if some of you may know this on this group, but GCMS has hosted twice a mental health summit where we invited high school students from 22 different schools to bring kids in to do exactly what you're talking about, to find out from their perspective, what are the burdens of their time? What are the platforms to reach them? We've done those things twice, and they're hugely impactful. I will say that I'm very proud of our kids because the things that we have done within our system to provide supports and services and connectivity. I just pulled up, we have on our website, we have a community resources list on our school website that mentions every group like you guys that are out there for different family burdens that exist, whether that be substance, whether that be divorce, whether that be homelessness, whatever the case may be. We just recently did a full review at GCMS of our practices with cohorts of people to offer input. And so how do you get these people sitting at the table for this committee? That's heavy lifting for a 16 to 20-year-old. I think that's asking an awful lot. You're asking for someone to sit on a table with some super high-end decision making that they're not emotionally or mentally prepared for, especially if they've lived through some of these challenges. So I think that would be hard. But giving them a safe space, Frankie, you've said it multiple times, giving them a space to be heard, number one, is absolutely essential. Anything you can do for that and anything we can do to partner in that, we're all for it. During the school day, really, really hard. Being a conduit between you guys and our children to make sure that they know that the opportunity is there is absolutely our responsibility. The second piece to that has to be it has to be timely and assertive is action. Great, you listen to us. What are you going to do? Because if the kids don't see and get feedback and response from you listening to them, then they'll be like, why will I show up the next time to talk? And that has a trickle effect. You know, you gain credibility through your organization, through your initiatives, because the kids can see that you're doing things that directly support and impact them. So I think if I'm giving any advice, Tim, yeah, we're a conduit. We're a conduit to children. We will build that bridge. Can we give the human resources? We have 4 social workers now. We had 2 5 years ago, and we embrace those folks. Because they're busy all day, every day, not just with the stuff that's required by law, but with the stuff that we're trying to muddle through in life. But we don't have a lot of time or human resources to invest in. So if we can find ways to steer people towards entities and organizations like you folks that can do action that's very targeted and specific, we'll do that to help in any way we can.
Thank you.
And I think I can speak for the other superintendents of Ford County, even though each of our districts span multiple counties, but we're kind of that central hub. So things that we can do to partner, we're always willing and able to do that. Getting the right people at the table is the hardest part, which in all honesty, 99% of the time in this realm, it's not me, it's our 4 social workers. They're pretty fantastic.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. That's great information. And it does make sense, obviously, once you do it, the action has to come, like,
Yeah.
you know, have a plan, make sure. I was just curious, do the schools seem to have a lot of like after school clubs or things like that? Like, you know,
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
clubs at schools, it's interesting you asked that question. I just did a college visit with my nephew at U of I, and they have over 1,000 clubs. And all it takes to create a club at the University of Illinois is 7 people and a stance. It can be the Watching Grass Grow Club. So I'm going to tell you, public schools, especially small schools, are very similar to that. Clubs exist because you have a small cohort or sometimes a large cohort of people that have a specific interest. And so we have various ones. They tend to live and die based on, there's some that will be a pop-up. And it'll last for a year or 2 years, or you'll have a cohort of kids that goes through in 4 years. The sustainability of that, it has to be something that reaches and targets a lot of kids. The one thing that's really encouraging is we're starting to see clubs formed for the things that used to be taboo. And I heard that mentioned earlier, making it more comfortable to have an organization that used to be more restricted within a public school setting. You're seeing a lot more of those things occur, and we embrace and support that. If we have a group of kids and an adult that is comfortable and confident to sponsor that club, we're all for it. We kind of leave that open-ended, if that answers your question.
yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
I have a question for Mr. Darnell. So at one time, you know, drug and alcohol and vaping prevention programs were happening through Rosecrans as they have the RSUPIC grant in this county. Is that still happening in your school district?
Yep. Yep, we still have, so we have our internal curriculum through health classes, and then Rosecrans still provides supplemental services. Shelby Kerfot has been our person who has done that. And she, I believe, does that for us and Paxton, where she comes in once a week at multiple different grade levels and does presentations. And then at the elementary level, we have our elementary social workers that do some additional supplemental classroom instruction on everything from child lures to substance to general health curriculum.
Okay, so that still is Shelby?
Yeah. Shelby was our person for the last couple of years. That is 100% at their discretion. I know they're like most of us, they're struggling with staffing. So the amount of time and the staff continuity that they have, which Shelby and I had a great conversation with about this at the end of the school year. You're talking about very sensitive topics. So having that familiar face walking in the door and doing that instruction, it was really amazing having her for multiple years, because then when the kids have that person in 6th grade and 7th grade and 8th grade, and you see and you build that rapport. So you build another connection to kids, but that's 100% at the discretion of Rosecrans and their staffing. And we have massive turnover even within our school system. So you go into private entities like that, they struggle with staffing as well. So she was a little bit concerned whether or not she would be able to maintain her placement, because if they need her elsewhere for part of the time, then they reduce services in order to continue providing something to all. So you lose a little bit of the fidelity.
Carrie?
Hi, everyone. I think that this is such impactful conversation. So thank you all for your insight today. I just wanted to bring some attention to a couple things in the chat. Melissa from LifeSil had put in a couple solid thoughts. The first being, she said, I think our children are our future, and we know that some are living in homes seeing addiction and mental health. Giving them a safe space with tools and better ways to cope would always be great. But the second part to her thought was lots of Paxton and Gibson ideas, but any ideas for the youth in the panhandle of Ford County?
And that gets harder because there is no high school up there. That high school is Livingston.
Oh, it's Livingston County. Okay.
So the Tri-Point School District up yonder in the North 40 is only K through 8, which is still an important, age group. But when we're talking about high school youth programs, that excludes that.
Yeah, and then the way that I would see it too, if we had some sort of subcommittee, and again, this is just beginning thoughts of this, but this subcommittee would not just, in my dream would be students from different school districts, different towns, different counties throughout the whole county. How that would work again logistically, would it be Zoom, would it be in person when they're meeting? I have no answers for that at this moment, but I want all of our youth in all the towns of Ford County to be included in this. So I mean, to have them on the subcommittee, I don't think that in my head you would have to live in this bottom chunk of Ford County. But yeah, the panhandle kids also, I would hope they could join this subcommittee somehow as well.
Hey, Frankie, I apologize because I have to jump off for another meeting here in just a few minutes. But yeah, Tri-Point, we regularly meet with Tri-Point, with PBL, Tri-Point, and GCMS to address things that are universal for Ford County. So we don't want to exclude anyone when we have conversations, decisions. If you're looking for a kickoff point, engaging with each high school social worker and doing a small cohort of kids. We do field trips for a lot worse reasons. So doing a daytime meeting with a group of kids that are selected by the high school social workers, because they're going to know the kids that are both impacted and willing to engage. So doing something like that, I think would be an absolutely amazing idea. And again, I think I can speak for for all three districts, that we would embrace that opportunity for our high school social workers to bring, you know, a group of 2, 3, 4 kids with some diversity and background and experience to sit down at a table. And because at the end of the day, everybody sitting here talking about how we should involve youth is kind of useless. We need the youth to tell us how they need to be involved. And so I think that would be an amazing step that would be absolutely embraced.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Del.
We'll do, I don't know who went first, Tim and then Del.
One thing that I've found I live in the Panhandle and I represent the Panhandle. And no, we don't have a lot of schools, but we do have churches. That's how I reach out to a lot of people, through the churches where they do attend, where families do attend. The pastors and the people in those churches do understand what's going on in our communities, in our families and stuff like that. So I'd never, ever leave them out of a conversation in my area, since we don't have the resources of schools and stuff like that.
That's a great point, Tim. Thank you.
Yeah, I sit on the board of the Illinois Prairie Community Foundation, and they deal with philanthropy and issuing out grants and stuff like that. But one of the things that they have underneath it is they have a youth engaged in philanthropy, because they know the kids aren't going to want to be at the adult table, right? It's really boring. We're covering spreadsheets, and yeah, it's a board meeting. But what they do is they give them $10,000 a year, and then they have the kids set up their own grants, right? So who do you want to issue grants out to? And they recruit people, they go set up, they try to recruit some funding and things like that. So this year, like, one of their goals was to try to make $2,500. And then they're also, so they get 10,000, but they're trying to put 2,500 back into the pot. And then they go out and find, 5 to 10 to 12 different organizations that they can give grants to. And those tend to be organizations that the adults would never look at, right? So this is something that the kids are interested in. It's their program. All they really needed was a little bit of mentorship from the adults and the funds to be able to do that. And to us, we have an account of $24 million that we oversee as the adults. 10,000 is it's almost nothing, right? So if they can't raise the money, it's not going to put us out of business or anything like that. But it's a great way for the kids to be able to engage in things that they're interested in and teach them skills on how to do that stuff and provide a little bit of mentorship. And I think you can do that with ROSC. I don't think the kids would want to be directly involved in the adult ROSC. That sounds incredibly boring. But if you gave them a safe place and some funding and some mentorship, I think they would develop things that you wouldn't really have to solve all the issues that you think they'd be interested in. They would bring it up to you. And then I find, the youth engaged in philanthropy, they do it once a month, but I find they bring up ideas that I'm like, oh, I've never even heard of this place, or didn't even know it existed, or didn't even know that this was an issue. And letting them solve problems, I think that's a great skill set to have as high school kids. And they cover multiple high schools. So they've got kids coming in from a lot of different areas. So thank you.
Program called again. What was that program called again? Did you say youth engagement philanthropy? Or who is this? Or is this through yours? I missed that. I'm sorry. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, I dropped a link in the chat. It's Youth Engaged in Philanthropy.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
And
so
that's
much.
through the Illinois Prairie Community Foundation, is kind of the oversight organization.
Awesome.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions over the youth topic? I feel like we could talk about this forever and ever. But I do like what Jeremy said, that we can try to figure out where they can fit in, but they're not here to tell us where they would want to fit in. So I think that's an important thing, and something that we can start working towards, hopefully, and learning more about what we could do as a ROSC to support our youth. Tim, do you have a question?
One more thing, as everyone knows, at least I've figured it out, so many of our youth are so connected on their phones and on social media and everything like that. And if we, in my opinion, if we want to reach them where they are, that's one area we might want to look into and find something appealing to them. I don't know. Believe me, if you ever see a young person say, Tim is on Facebook, and they'll, oh, wow, how old is he? And, you know, that's for old people, I've been told. So we have to learn that and get on like Snapchat and all these other things that they're on to reach them and then lure them into checking us out, in my opinion. I don't know, because they have to be like anybody else, find a point of interest and approach it. And I think we've done that in like face-to-face stuff, but I don't know otherwise.
Thanks, Tim. That's a really good point. My kids are not on Facebook, and I still think that that's like a newer, like not new, but hip, I guess. And they're like, no, we're not on Facebook.
Facebook's for old people, I
Yeah,
think. Now,
so
you know,
yeah, that's a
like-
good point. All right, well, Ford Ross TikTok. Yeah, I would love that. Content creation and being on top of that is the hardest thing about it. But yeah, the kids could
The kids
possibly
could
do their
start that,
thing.
you know, that's what,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yes.
love that.
Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears just for a minute. We had a couple meetings surrounding stigma reduction campaign in Ford County. We kind of haven't mentioned it since, but we have been working in the background, and we just wanted to give you guys a few updates. So we have our logo or slogan. We're going with reframing recovery, and I'll explain what that is kind of in a minute. We're developing specific content around family education, justice, and impacted community and individual. We've created our campaign timeline, which we're working towards. And then our next meeting that we're meeting kind of behind the scenes is July 3rd. So next month we'll have even more updates for you. And we're going to try to do this every month, so you guys know what's going on, and just hopefully start thinking about how you can partner with us and collaborate with us and getting this campaign out there, distribution, media, and things like that. So I'm going to go to the next slide. It's like a sorry. So when we're just to kind of give a background of why we kind of went with reframing recovery. One, we want to keep it hopeful. Recovery is hope, and that's what we want to do. We want our data to be hopeful, our stories to be hopeful, because as many of us know on here, recovery is hope. But we also hear a lot of the time, recovery is for everyone. It's for every person, every community, every family. But sometimes maybe it might be hard for an individual to put them in that everyone. How is recovery for me? So by putting this frame in here, we're letting hopefully individuals fill that in for themselves. Recovery is different for every single person. Recovery is the big things. It is my freedom. It is having custody of my children. It is, I just bought a home for like my very first home. So these big things, but it's also, teaching my little one how to ride a bike. That is what recovery means to me. It's a pillow and socks and a blanket. It is driving out into the country at 10 o'clock at night with my son to hopefully see a meteor shower. So it's all of those things, the thousands of things that make up my recovery. But then you ask a family member. I asked my sister, what does recovery mean to you? I've never asked her that question before. And it is the random Thursday night phone call. What are you doing for dinner? I don't know. What are you doing for dinner? Let's do it together. Just the last minute dinner plans. It's her being able to, on her run, randomly stop by my house to get her water because she's training for a marathon. And then maybe you ask a small business owner, what is recovery to you? Maybe it's that person that comes in every season to check out the new scents, room spray scents, every single season. So as you can see, it's different. Recovery is for everyone, and everybody can put themselves in this frame and say what it is. I'm one person in recovery, and this is my recovery, my sister's recovery, and a little business that I go to in Gibson City every season to get the scents. So as you can see, recovery really is for everyone. These are my little stick figures that we've created. And then also within these frames, you can put how changing the words really do make a difference, or reframing how we're saying things. It could be the positive data. So this is kind of where we're going with, I hope it makes sense, the stigma reduction campaign. we're super excited about it. We're still in the beginning parts of it, but I don't know. We've been working with Logan and Mason, putting our heads together, Logan, Mason, Ross. And we're gonna keep updating you guys. If you have any questions or comments or feedback, please reach out whenever. But yeah, that's a little update on our Hope campaign, we can call it, reframing recovery. Next slide. We're down to just a few minutes. Wait, it up.
Is it up?
Yeah, it's okay, there it is. So June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So we kind of were, and I'm talking really fast, I'm sorry, running. But we wanted to think of something that we could do kind of in observance of Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And it kind of, we went back to a phone call that we got about a couple months ago of a safety manager reaching out for free confidential mental health resources for a couple of the guys that work for this company. They didn't want to go inside somewhere. They didn't want to talk to a counselor. So we were able to connect them or give them resource of the Warm Line. So that kind of got us thinking, like, I wonder about all like the rest of these, this workforce, the industrial workforce. Granted, it's obviously not all men that work there, but it is 60 to 70% made up of men that work in this field. Research suggests that after that phone call, I kind of did a deep dive about mental health with the industrial workforce. But research suggests that manufacturing workers are more likely to struggle with mental health concerns like substance use and suicidality. Also, there was a study done that 24% of warehouse and transport workers said their jobs negatively affected their mental health, which is almost just about the same as their physical health. I've never worked in a job like that. I can imagine how physically demanding it is. So if the fact that their mental health struggle is up there with their physical, I feel like says a lot. So what we are planning to do, we created this poster, if you guys can see it, and we're going to be delivering it along with resource cards to our local factories, manufacturers, whoever throughout Ford County. Also, if these could be, we'll send these in a minute, and then they can be posted anywhere. It's really just resources for the community. But that one phone call kind of just got me and I wonder how many other individuals at these places might be struggling. So this is something that we're doing. If you would know anywhere that I'm trying to make a list of all these different businesses in the county, but there's more than you would think. So if you,
Okay.
But you just please let me know and I'll be sure to get them this information. Next thing, we have been trying to share trainings every month. A lot of these are youth focused, which kind of goes with what we're talking about today. The link is right here. We'll send this along also with the meeting minutes if you guys are interested, and they're all free. And I believe, Carrie, they offer CEUs, I think. Yes. Okay. But no,
I've done. Yeah, I'm more than happy to put the information in the chat so folks can check that out. The CEUs are only available for live trainings. However, every training is recorded and posted on the Center for Community Engagement's website to view later. But again, CEUs only available for the live version.
Thank you, Carrie. And I've done, I think, almost every one that they've had lately. So, and they are very, very informative. And I've learned a lot. So, yeah, those are available. Oh yeah, and here's our contact and social media. Again, we just want to say thank you guys for always showing up here or showing up when you can. We are excited to start a whole new year. We're excited for our stigma reduction campaign, our Hope campaign. And if there's any questions with that or anything else that we've talked about today, please feel free to reach out. But really, truly, we are grateful for you all. It means a lot that you guys show up as a person in recovery, as a Ford County resident, and just as a person on the Ford County ROSC. I really, really appreciate it. Are there any questions or comments, updates that you may have? Yeah, with your organization. Tim, you can talk to me.
Hello. How are you guys doing? I didn't know if you could hear me. Yeah, I got a couple things. Again, like I keep saying, I'm on the Ford County board, and I would greatly appreciate anybody the second Monday of every month, 7 p.m. in the basement of the sheriff's building. to please come let us know how it's going in the community, get more community involvement and stuff like that. I'll give you the platform if you're willing to use it. And one other thing, if anybody is available this Friday, I and a group of angels among us, like you guys, I'm so fortunate to be affiliated with, are pulling off produce distribution, and we have a health fair going on where we have in the Roberts Gym at 3:30 in the afternoon till we run out of produce. And what we try to do is feed the mind, body, and soul in these events. And we try, and it's for free. We give away the produce. The only question we'll allow to be asked is how many are in your family? And that tells me how many potatoes you're going to get and how many of these other things you're going to get. But we don't let somebody come in and go shopping. We provide a recipe and all the ingredients there for a sassy salad or a soup or something like that. And that's our community. These are some of the people that are in need and everything like that. And if you guys would ever want to come share some of this with us, you're always welcome. Anytime I'm anywhere, you are welcome. Believe me. And I would highly encourage it. If you can come away with a dry eye, you're a better person than I. You'll see some of these people that need this more than you'll ever know, and they are having abuse issues and everything like that. And we just try to let them know we're here to listen. We pray with them and we talk with them and we feed them. And so I don't know, just what we're trying to, like you said, the panhandle. Thank you guys very much. You're doing God's work, and I appreciate every one of you.
Thank you, Tim. And I will be in touch with you actually probably later today if you have time. I'll give you a phone call. Yeah.
And where's this at again?
It's
Friday
at
at 3,
Roberts.
at what time?
Is it Roberts, right?
Yeah,
This
it's at the
Friday?
Roberts Gym at 3:30 in the afternoon, Friday. Again, I'm always looking for volunteers. As everyone well knows, we get everything ready and everything like that. And it's an amazing event. And I'm fortunate to work with a Mennonite School of Nursing through them and everything else. We make things happen. And it's amazing to deal with some of these people. And I just can't say enough about them. But yeah, and the good it does. And you see Valerie Wright is like you ladies, just an angel among us and pulls this off and passionate about making a difference in our community.
Thank you, Tim.
Abby?
Hi, I know that we only have like a minute left, but I just wanted to share that the Butterfly Project doesn't have a wait list for Ford County right now, and usually we are serving quite a few families in Ford County. So just a reminder to everyone that if you know a family who has been exposed to domestic violence with children between the ages of 0 and 18, we provide counseling and case management services completely free or grant funded. And we are located in Bloomington, but all of our staff come to you. We meet in the homes or in community settings, and we have partnerships with different agencies and different things like that in Ford County. So I just want everyone to understand our services and know exactly what it is that we're doing. So completely free. And we come to you, case management and counseling for families exposed to domestic violence. And Tim, I might be reaching out to you too, because I'm going to see if we have anyone available to possibly come set up a table at that event. So anyways, yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions, comments, updates?
I just want to say, hey from Champaign.
Hello.
First of all, I love your campaign slogan. Oh my God, I want to cry. And of course, and two, Champaign was Carl, we were going to take on the ROSC baby, but they didn't open the NOFO for it this year. So we're going to be patient and see if they come through next year. Because, we are one of the counties without a ROSC. And so we'll continue to support the surrounding ROSCs and all the amazing work they do. And Jeff, I think, is on here. And I just want to give kudos to Jeff in this video. About thank you naloxone. So the thank you Narcan. And if you haven't got a chance to watch it, he can, I'm sure he sent it out and
Gosh, I haven't
like,
seen it.
thank you, ROSC and everybody who was a part of putting that together, because that is
Email.
pretty phenomenal. So
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe we have the link for it.
Yeah, there are two different links.
He shared it in his council, so he can send you the link.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, well, if there's nothing else, I think we're gonna try to send that link along, Christina, so other individuals
Yeah.
can see that as well. Thank you guys again for being here and have an awesome day.
Yeah, thanks. See you in July.
Bye, everyone. Have a good one.
Thank you, everybody.